Hi, I'm Kimberly with the Fat Quarter Shop, and today we're here with Edyta from Laundry Basket Quilts, and she is so excited to tell us about her friendship half square triangle exchange. I've heard a lot about this over the years, so can you tell me more about how you do this and how you arrange this with your friends?
Well, I'm glad you asked. It is so much fun to exchange fabrics with your friends. I always wonder what my friends have in their stash. I want a little bit piece of their fabric. So having a triangle exchange, it's a nice way to see what's there and have fun with it. There's many different patterns and different designs that use half square triangles, and many times you need 350, 700 half square triangle, and it's so much easier to do them with your friends and exchange them than do everyone individually by yourself.
So when you did your first triangle exchange, did you do that on your blog?
I did a triangle exchange with my friends, and later on I'm going to show you a quilt that it's made from that one. And I simply call up my girlfriends and said, hey, do you want to exchange fabrics? And they said yes, and I have been doing it for many years now and just having lots of fun. We're going to use my paper to do them. You need fabric, and what I prepare for us is 2 pieces of fabric, one dark, one light. And I took one of my triangle papers. The paper comes in a package just like this, and you have 25 sheets in it. One sheet gives you 28 half square triangles. This is a size 2 inch. What that means that the half square triangles will be 2 inch finish. On the paper, you have directions that the fabric needs to be 6.5 by 21 inches to fit this paper. I love this because it gives you a lot of fun half square triangle. I center up my paper, then I'm gonna use pins to secure it in place. I have one prepared for us already. Notice, I put my pins slightly on an angle, and I put as many as I can of them because I wanted the paper to stay really nicely. This paper is a recycled newspaper print, so it's very easy to rip it and take it off, but we need it to follow the lines so our triangles are nice and accurate. I have done many exchanges on my blog, through my book, Half Square Triangle, Friendship Triangles, with my friends in Moda, all Moda designers did an exchange, and it's really important to have the lines, to follow them so everybody is on the same page, which size, how the triangle is supposed to look. And on the paper you have dotted line, and we're gonna sew on the dotted line. I use Orofil 2370, any of the tone on tone, like Edyta's Essentials, the threads, those are great to sew on the paper. This thread is weight 50, so it's slightly thinner. It's not gonna build up any bulk in a seam. The seam allowance has to be a little closer together because we want the needle to break the paper for us so it comes off later much easier. The cotton thread is on the top and in a bobbin. And let's get into sewing. We're gonna start sewing here. We're gonna sew straight, needle position down, help us pivot on it and keep on going and sew all the way around till we finish sewing, go out, go right back in, finish sewing on the paper. It only takes few minutes and you have sewn all of the triangles.
And what size stitch length are you using?
On my sewing machine, I use 1.5. I call it 1 notch down. So if your sewing machine, the regular setting is 2.5, you take a 1 notch down. If on your sewing machine 3.5 is the standard setup, then lower down to 2.5. You don't want to go too tight because you build up too much thread and it goes very slow. You just needed to break the paper a little bit. All right, I have started cutting using my favorite Creative Grid ruler, and this is one of the newer ones that they have it out. I love this ruler for cutting on a paper because it has those grippies right here. So when I'm cutting on the paper, it just does not slide, and I'm gonna take a rotary and cut it right on the straight lines. So we sewed on a dotted line, and now we're gonna cut on our straight lines. And I have cut some for you. Look at this, and quickly we're gonna get 28 half square triangles. Oh, don't be so excited, it's not time to open and look what you have done yet. At this moment, normally I would go ahead and exchange with my girlfriends, and I know we all are looking forward to open them up, press it, and see the matches and see how our half square triangle look. But I feel when you exchange and the fabric still folded in half, it's a really cute surprise for my friends. So as soon as I exchange them, I bring mine home, I start pressing them and enjoying them, clip the bunny ears. And did you notice, remember I asked you to keep the light fabric on the top and the dark on the bottom, because when you press, the paper pushes the seam allowance towards the dark fabric, and it's always behind the dark fabric, so that helps when later on you have to piece those together, that the seam allowances are going in the opposite direction. But before you get into piecing, you're gonna spend some time in front of the TV ripping the paper apart, and I like to start up in the middle. I pull it gently, rip it like this, and then take this other side, and yes, the paper is out, and we are ready to use our triangles for our projects. And I can't wait to show you some of the projects that I have done. And I also brought to show you some of triangles that I have recently exchanged with some of my friends. These ones are very special to me because they came from many different girls from all over the world. And what I love about it, that some of the girls place the names in the back of the triangle. So it's fun for me to look where the triangle came from. I so much enjoy it. And many times when we get half square triangles, we're not sure about the colors, but it's just to be open-minded, really create a beautiful variety. And I am enjoying some of the fabrics that I would have maybe never purchased or have never seen it in a store, and now I know they're out there and I love it in my little triangles. So notice that all the fun colors variety. This bag has triangles that a friend of mine have sent it to me, and she has used all this fun, colorful fabrics, and I cannot wait to play with those. This is the latest one I have received. So triangle exchange is definitely much, much fun.
And so how many people do you try to arrange the triangle paper exchange with?
Well, you can exchange as, in a really close group of friends, maybe 14 girlfriends, because you have 28 triangles, so that way you would give 2 triangles to every person, and they give you 2, and you end up back with all that you give away comes right back to you. Or you can go with a larger group and do it more random. You don't put it in everybody's bag. You can exchange it by sending the triangles to others, or you can do it by simply having a little party, and at the party, when I meet you, I introduce myself, I give you a triangle, you give me one, and if I really like your triangle, I will offer you 2 for 1 because I want some of your fabrics. And when you're creating the quilts, you have to find a fabric that is gonna anchor the scrappiness, the craziness of your quilt. And in this case, the background fabric tones down some of the colors, that's first of all, but notice all the tree trunks are the ones that anchor down the scrappiness, the craziness that is going on. And I love the craziness, believe me, I can't wait to use some of those goodies. Where we have variety of patterns, starting with the tree farm, and this is one of the more popular one. And then we have a friendship triangle book. In it, you have many different projects, from baskets and different arrangements, a little table toppers. All of those have half square triangles, and they all use the 2-inch half square triangles. And then we have other patterns that I can't wait to show you. This quilt is one of my oldest quilts, and this is the mountaintop, and I just love it. I started with a half square triangle exchange, and notice it, yeah, all of those triangles came from half square triangle exchange. The setting triangles I chose, and with choosing those fabrics, I kind of set the mood for this quilt. And I like those funky, crazy fabrics, and I set them in. The brown in the center and the sashing anchor everything down and calms it down, and it makes this quilt a very nice and appealing. Oh, I can't wait to show you this quilt. This one is so much fun. In this quilt, we exchange half square triangle, and I set them into the basket. Notice each basket have little handles on each side, and that's what anchors up again the scrappiness. And what I like about this one is that sometimes you can select only, for example, green triangles and put them in one basket. Notice the blue one right there, and notice the totally scrappy and crazy one, and cherry on the top of this one. So another fun idea. This one is set in on point, with a zigzag setting between the blocks. So this one is another quilt from the Friendship Triangle book. And this one, you just put your triangles all together, and I have a little spin on it. There's a little block in it that creates that secondary design, and you can really enjoy it. Notice it, this one, how wonderfully it looks. And I washed this quilt already, so all the triangles just kind of string together. It has a fun feel to it, and it was a great exchange. There were a few triangles left from this exchange, and I don't know if you noticed the bag on my shoulder. So with this one, you can, this is another project from the Friendship Triangle book. And with this one, you can take your triangle to the grocery store and show off to all your girlfriends.